Well, hello everybody. What a golf tournament is all I have to say. The 2026 Masters is officially in the books, and oh my goodness, Rory McIlroy becomes the fourth man to win back-to-back Masters. He joins Jack Nicklaus, Nick Faldo, Tiger Woods as players to go back-to-back. It's also a wire-to-wire victory as well. But it doesn't really feel like that, because in the middle of the rounds, in the third round, fourth round, he lost the lead in the third round once, and the fourth round a few times. Boy, where to start? I think we just start from the top. You know, Rory McIlroy, a sixth major championship. He joins Phil Mickelson, he joins Nick Faldo, he joins Lee Trevino as guys with 6 majors. Just incredible stuff. And I liken, you know, Rory McIlroy's 6th major from 2014 to 2025. He had that 11-year gap where he didn't win a major championship. But in that time, you know, it wasn't like he disappeared or something like that. You know, he won 19 tournaments. He won a Players Championship. He won 3 FedEx Cups. He was Player of the Year multiple times. He had 4 runner-ups in majors during that time. Just a long stretch of great play that did not see him cross the finish line in a major, and there are a lot of questions as to why that was. And then last year he breaks through at the Masters and then does it again this year. I like to kind of think of this as maybe like a kind of renaissance, you know, like we saw the Middle Ages from say 2015 to 2024, and we think of the Middle Ages as, well, not much happened, but the reality is a lot did. You know, we saw it there winning tournaments and everything, kind of like you had, you know, the rise of Islam, or, you know, the bubonic plague sort of thing. Well, you can't just skip over all that. Part of his career is part of it. But really, you think about McIlroy and you think about just the incredible talent that he was when he came out, and he won 4 majors like that. You know, from 2011 to 2014, he won the 4 majors, and he was only 24 years old. And I think people thought, you know, really that he was the next Tiger Woods at the time. And, you know, it didn't really quite pan out that way. Or, you know, at that time it was still, well, is Tiger going to be the next Jack Nicklaus? And still kind of the question. But Tiger appears to be done. No, Rory McIlroy has been resurrected in a great way. I guess to call this his rebirth, his renaissance. And the interesting thing is that you've had other players that have had 11-year gaps between majors. That would include Tiger Woods going from 2008 to his kind of last hurrah at the 2019 Open. You have guys like Hale Irwin, Julius Boros, Ben Crenshaw, Henry Cotton, old-timer that won the Open Championship 3 times. All those players, though, that was their final major. After they come back after the 11 years, they won a major. It was like their swan song. With McIlroy, you don't get that feeling now. You don't get the feeling like this is it. It's 6 majors. He's had a great career. The man's only 36 years old, due in part to the fact that he won so many majors at such a young age, which is just quite incredible that, you know, he was able to do that. And, you know, now that the sky is the limit again for him, you know, does he go on to become the next man to win the career Grand Slam 2 times over, 3 times over? You know, we got Jack Nicklaus, you got Tiger Woods, players to win the Grand Slam 3 times over. Nobody else has won it more than the once over. I think that it's potentially possible that Rory McIlroy could do that. Another interesting note, however, is that the man in second place, I'll call him, The world number one, still world number one, the man in second place, the runner-up, Scotty Scheffler. How do you go from even par through 36 holes, you're 12 strokes back of the lead, shoot a 65 on Saturday, 68 on Sunday, you lose by a single stroke? One of the most incredible turnarounds. And really, McIlroy definitely got a bit, I would say, fortunate to win this tournament, because Scotty Scheffler was right there. He had the tournament as well. Like, the kind of run he was making, if he could have made just a couple more putts, he was applying the pressure. But again, it was a little bit too late. McIlroy early, of course, makes that sloppy double bogey at 4 after making, a bogey early on at 1, failing to birdie the par 5 second, bogey, birdie in the third. It was all of a mixed bag. But I thought, after the 6th hole, when he birdies 7 and 8, and then he goes out and birdies 12 and 13, so critical to birdie 12. I think that shot at 12 was ever so critical to get that in tight and make that birdie, and then the birdie at 13. You saw him with the great 2-shot cushion, which he was fortunate to have after players like Rose and Henley really just kind of crumbled a little bit under the pressure, I feel like. And also Cameron Young, they didn't do enough on the back 9, and surprisingly so that at least one of those guys didn't do something. Terrell Hatton was in there earlier making a good run on the back, but he was too far back and just didn't get it done. And so you have the tale of two halves. You have Rory McIlroy, 12 under in the first half, even par in the latter half. Scotty Scheffler, even par in the first half, 11 under in the second half. And Rory takes that just by the slimmest of margins, by doing just a one better first half than Scotty's second half. And to me, Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, I feel like these two guys are in their prime. I don't feel like this is over. I feel like this is, for the first time in maybe 50 years, you have these two kind of caliber guys that going at each other. It's like a Tom Watson or Jack Nicklaus, or Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus even. We haven't seen two guys of that caliber go at each other, and I would argue that Rory McIlroy and Scotty Scheffler did not, either one of them, have their A games the whole tournament. If those guys were both in full flight going at each other, who knows what's going to happen. And you've got a good 10, 15 years to figure it out. Who's going to get to 10 majors? Can somebody catch Tiger or Jack Nicklaus? Which, right now, if you would ask me this question even last year before this tournament, I would say Scotty Scheffler for sure. And I think the answer still is probably Scotty Scheffler is going to have the better major tally in the end. But, boy, I tell you what, if Rory can, string together some more tournaments like this, it's going to be really interesting the next 5, 10 years to see what these guys do. Cameron Young, third player in the world. He took the lead at one point in the final round, and just kind of got stuck on the backside. Justin Rose, I feel for the guy. Second twice, actually second 3 times, lost twice in a playoff at the Masters. And he had the lead, the solo lead for a brief moment in time today, and just the wheels kind of fell off, beginning at some sloppy bogeys at 11 and 12, and then kind of failing to capitalize later on in the back 9. So just such a crazy tournament, such a crazy ending. Like I said, Rory McIlroy going back to back. I don't think this is something we're gonna see much in our lifetime. It's probably another 20 years before we're gonna see this. So just enjoy that.